What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 22 My Team career mode. Last time out we were in Mexico, and after I picked up a 10 place grid penalty for changing my control electronics, we could not progress through the field, and I was running in 13th with 4 laps to go when we suffered another failure. It was actually a gearbox failure this time, and subsequently I have made the decision. I said in the previous video I wasn't sure where I was going to take it. I've made the decision. I'm going to take the gearbox penalty here in Portugal. I think that my chances of cutting through the field in Portugal are slightly higher than that of it in Brazil. So whilst I did have a gearbox I could have used here and waited until Brazil, I've decided I'm going to take it here in Portugal and see if I can do anything. Of course, a gearbox penalty, only a 5 place grid penalty as opposed to other engine component changes which are 10 place grid penalties. So if I can get pole here, I'll only be starting 6th, and therefore I think we have a good chance of scoring points here today and hopefully maintaining the lead of the championship. But before that, we are getting into the regulation change part of the season, and apparently multiple departments are having regulation changes taking effect this season, so we will see shortly. Seems that aero is one of them, you can see from this particular email here, and the other one is powertrain. So yes, we have a lot of upgrades to adapt, and we're just going to speed through them quickly. I end up spending about 22,000 resource points, something like that, to cover off all of these upgrades. It would have of course been even more had there been another department that we would have had to adapt as well. But yeah, that is the end of that. And covered off, as simple as that. I know some people sometimes try to avoid covering off all the upgrades to make things a little bit more exciting, but I mean, honestly, things are pretty exciting even without that. We are the fastest car on the grid, but not by much. So yeah, when the other teams are on their particular day, I think anything could happen. First off, we got practice here in Portugal, and we'll see what we can do, whether we can be in the mix immediately. And you can see now as we come to the end, I was P14 in the session, 9/10 down on Gasly, but we actually did do a quali pace run on a set of soft compound tyres. However, I was being blocked by Magnussen in the AlphaTauri for the entire lap, effectively. He was running on hard compound tyres during that lap as well, so I effectively did a lap that was the pace of an AlphaTauri on hards when I was doing my quali pace run, so I probably had a bit more in the tank if I had to guess. So representative lap time not done, and hopefully when we get into quali, I won't be facing so much blocking, and maybe I'll be able to actually do a time that is representative of my true pace around this circuit. We're currently leading the championship by 14 points, I believe, to Lando Norris behind, and then Albon is also 23 points behind, so both of them sitting poised and ready to overtake me in the championship. If they can get strong qualifying performances, the highest I can possibly start is 6th, which means if they can qualify in the top 5, they will be starting ahead of me and poised to outscore me. Anyway, we move into qualifying now. Q1, we're on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we are sat pretty behind Nicholas Latifi for the whole lap on this occasion. So we're definitely going to have to go again on another fresh set of soft compound tyres, I think. We do a 1:17.3, but I don't think that'll be good enough to see us through. I think we'll need to be at least in the 1:16s to have any chance of getting through. And you can see I am in fact down in P18 at the moment, but we're improving by about 5.5 tenths, something like that. And we improve into the 1:16s, and that is in the end good enough to see us through in 9th place. Meanwhile, Latifi was actually out in 20th, so he ended up doing a slower lap than me, despite the fact that I was being held up by him the whole time. Albon there in P4, you can see fastest was Norris with a 1:16.1. So we got our work cut out for us if we want to outqualify those guys. And at the moment, if we show this kind of pace in Q2, I think we're going to struggle to make it into Q3, to be honest, and that would be an absolute disaster. I can't be starting P18 again like I did in Mexico. That would be pretty catastrophic for our championship chances, I think, because it would again mean I would really struggle to make my way into the top 10 and score some points. So yeah, we're going to have to hopefully do better here. I go out on a used set of softs initially. We do a 1:17.1. Once again, I don't think that's going to be fast enough to see us through to the next session, so I'll probably go out on a fresh set and try and do a slightly better time. Get held up by Russell there, but it doesn't matter because we were on a cooldown lap. And yeah, you can see that we improved by about 7/10 of a second when we're on a fresh set of tyres, so I think we should comfortably be through here. So 1:16.4 in the end, and that is good enough to see us through in 4th place. So yeah, we've made it through to Q3, no problems, and hopefully we can get a good result in Q3 as well. So we can be starting within the top 10, hopefully. But a few surprise exits here, as you can see. Piastri's made it through again, as has Magnussen and both of the Alpines. But Leclerc is gone, and Verstappen is gone, and Norris is gone. All 3 of them have failed to make it through to Q3, and that is actually really good for our championship chances, because as long as we qualify higher than 9th now, we'll be starting ahead of Norris, who is currently our closest rival in this championship. Obviously, we have Albon to worry about as well, who, if he outscores us by 23 or 24 points, so basically if he wins and we don't score points, effectively, we could be looking at him taking the lead of the championship if Norris also doesn't really improve in his race. And if Norris somehow manages to recover to 3rd and I don't score any points, then he will take the lead of the championship. So, yeah, a lot to worry about here, and we only do a 1:17.3 to kick off. So yeah, we're gonna need to do a little bit better if we want to get anywhere. You can see we're down in P10 at the moment as we come into the final sector on our final flying lap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. But we are over a second up at the moment, and yeah, this lap is showing pretty good pace. I do make a bit of a mistake there, which cost me maybe a 10th or so. But we make the time up on the exit of the corner. We have better traction than we did on the used tyres. I think we're going to be up by about 1.1 seconds as we come to the line here. And that is going to be good enough to give us a 1:16.2. I don't think this will be good enough for pole position. However, it is good enough to put us in P4 again. So in the race, if there are no other penalties applied, we will be starting in 9th.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Russell, Albon, and Daniel Ricciardo. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
And Albon only getting P2 there, actually. It's George Russell in the end who takes P1, which is very surprising. He's having quite a strong end to the season here, even though, you know, he's not in one of the fastest cars on the grid, I would say. But, you know, maybe he's treating Portugal as a bit of a second home as such, because, you know, there's a lot of British expats there. Maybe he's trying to impress those guys. Who knows? But either way, yeah, he'll be starting in 1st. And we will probably be starting in 9th, provided that there aren't any surprises, any surprise penalties around the field, which I don't think there will be. The only person who I could see taking penalties feasibly is probably Zhou Guanyu, because of how many DNFs he's had, and he had one recently in Mexico as well. So yeah, he's probably the only person who I could see maybe taking one, but that won't affect us in the slightest. So yeah, we will be probably starting 9th if I had to guess, and hopefully we can carve our way through the field. If I can get at least a top 5 finish, I'll be pretty happy with that. I think the car has the pace to do that. So we'll see where we can end up as we get into the race.
Welcome along then to Portimao, one of the busiest towns in the Algarve and a breathtaking destination that brings tourists from all around the world to the shores of southern Portugal. Today it's the backdrop for the latest round of the Formula One World Championship, and with a circuit this wide, we could be in for a lot of exciting wheel-to-wheel action today. So Portimao features 15 turns over the course of its 2.9-mile length. 9 are right-handers, 6 are to the left. This is a track with a lot of uphill action, which only accentuates the importance of getting those exits right, especially at turn 4, where a good line can present opportunities to pass on the way into turn 5. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri, Kevin Magnussen and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Robinson. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Carlos Sainz, Théo Pourchaire, Leclerc, Lando Norris, Fittipaldi, Tsunoda, Schwartzman, Lance Stroll and Guan Yu Zhou, Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Lundgaard and Max Verstappen completes the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Robinson. Everything's on the line here today, and the title hangs in the balance. So how do you think they'll be coping with all that pressure?
By trying not to think about the result too much. The worst thing you can do in this situation is think about all the what-ifs. What if I get hit in turn 1? What if I get a penalty? What if I finish outside the points? If you do let those kind of worries get to you, you can't focus on the job. So staying in the right mindset will be critical today.
Actually, I think Natalie Pinkham's got that completely wrong, if I'm honest with you. I am very much an analytically minded person when I'm driving. Kind of, I guess, not in quite as extreme as how Alonso does it, but in a similar sort of way to him, where I'm kind of thinking about not only what I'm going to be doing at every stage of the race, but also what everyone else is going to be doing at every stage of the race. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, honestly, I probably am thinking about a lot of those things that she was saying I won't be thinking about. And, yeah, keeping it clean, obviously, is going to be pivotal. But also, I need to be clinical and I need to be decisive here. I cannot sit back and allow these guys to sort of overrun me like I did in Mexico. That was a major issue when we were in Mexico, because it meant that we just fell further and further back down the order. But anyway, we get ready to go now as the lights come on. And the lights go out as we switch to the replay camera, and you can see me behind Ocon there. I do get away well compared to him on these soft tyres compared to the medium tyres, and we're going to try and go around the outside of him here, but he brakes quite early. But we do manage to go around the outside of not only him, but also Gasly as well, down into turn 1 and 2, and up the inside of Alonso now, up into P6. That will be, and yeah, this is brilliant so far. We're now racing with Oscar Piastri for P5, and yeah, this is exactly the kind of start I was hoping for. Absolutely beautiful start, and we go down the inside of Oscar Piastri up into P5, and now we're going to be staring down the back of Kevin Magnussen in that AlphaTauri, trying to get up into P4 and hopefully challenging my teammate for the final spot on the podium. He's actually lost out to Ricardo off the start, who has made his way up into P2. George Russell already leading quite comfortably in this Portuguese Grand Prix. But yeah, I'm looking very good right now, and hopefully we can make quick work of Kevin Magnussen ahead in order to make my way up into P4. This is pretty much where I wanted to finish the race, to be honest. I was hoping I could get up into at least P5 to minimise the damage that the cars around me would be doing. I don't know where Norris is at the moment, but I think he's still outside the top 10. So, yeah, this has gone pretty much exactly how I wanted it to go, even better than I really could have anticipated it was going to go. And, yeah, hopefully we can continue making our way through the field. We've got some faster cars up ahead. If we get through Magnussen, the top 3 guys will be very fast and quite difficult to race with. But I think that we will have the pace to do it, to be perfectly honest with you. However, as you can see, we are coming now to the end of lap 4, and we're going to be starting lap 5. And I'm actually really struggling to get past Magnussen. I was taking a while to break out of Piastri's DRS range. And with Magnussen in DRS range of Albon, it was making it really hard for me to close him down at all. Finally, he looks like he's getting to the point where he's about to fall out of DRS range to Albon, which means hopefully I can close him down. But there's a few corners here where I just don't really have the traction to race with him at the moment. On the exit of the corners, I can't quite make it work. So yeah, it's going to be tricky to stay with him. But hopefully we can close him down through some of these straights, especially when we have the DRS and he doesn't, such as on this occasion. I don't think he had the DRS to Albon anymore. So yeah, hopefully he'll be falling further and further off the back of my teammate. But what that does mean is that I want to get past him very, very quickly, because the longer that I stay behind him, the further I'm going to be behind Albon, and the harder it's going to be to catch up with that top 3 before the end of the Grand Prix. So, yeah, we need to make the move happen soonish, and actually Magnussen locks up there and holds me right up on the apex of the corner. I wasn't expecting it. He locked up very late into the apex there. Usually people lock up a little bit earlier into a corner, but he really did lock up on the apex of the corner and caught me a little bit unawares, which meant that, yeah, I had to take evasive manoeuvres there. We move on now to the end of lap 7, and we're going to be starting lap 8. And you can see that I'm a lot closer to Magnussen on this occasion. And with the DRS, I'm burning a little bit more battery this time. We're going to try and go around the outside of him at turn 1. We're going to be wheel-to-wheel through turn 1, give him more than enough space. But, yeah, in the end, we do manage to make the move stick, and we're up into P5. 4 on lap 8, and we're going to see if we can hold on to this position through the next DRS zone. I'll be burning a little bit of battery, not too much because I want to hold on to it, and yeah, we do hold on to that position in the end. Lap 11 now is my pit lap, but Albon actually comes into the pits, and that makes me realise that maybe the best strategy is not to do a double stack on this lap, and I should try and stay out for one more lap. I absolutely have to come in on this lap because they say that the tyres won't last any longer than this, and as we move to the end of lap 12, you can see that in fact my front left tyre is on 70% wear. So yeah, I absolutely would not have been able to make it round for even one more lap with any kind of guarantee that that this tyre wouldn't have let go and maybe got a puncture or something like that. So yeah, we're into the pits now. It's lap 13, and we're going to be putting the medium tyres on to the end, quote unquote. However, there is going to be some rain coming towards the end of the Grand Prix. They've been warning me about it sporadically throughout the race. It's not quite clear when the rain is coming yet, but it definitely looks like we will be seeing some rain before the end of the Grand Prix. Coming out of the pits now, there's Kevin Magnussen. Who of us is going to be ahead? It's just going to be me, but I am on cold medium tyres, which haven't had a chance to warm up yet. He has had a lap to warm his tyres, so this might not be the end of this fight just yet. He might still be able to get back at me. We'll see. He's going to have the DRS through this next DRS zone, and as we come on the run down to the hairpin, we're going to be wheel to wheel. He's going to try and go up the inside, and unfortunately I just don't have the grip to fight him right now, and we go out quite wide. That allows him through, and yeah, we are now down once again into net P5 on the road. There's a few medium runners who haven't pitted yet, and I'm not sure that they will before the rain comes. It really depends on when the rain arrives in this Grand Prix, but nonetheless, as we move now to the end of lap 14 and the beginning of lap 15, you can see that I have once again managed to close down to the back of Kevin Magnussen, and we're going to try and make our way through up the inside this time into turn 1. We almost make contact there. I squeeze him out a little bit, and yeah, this sees us through back up into net P4, currently P7 because there's 3 cars who are yet to pit, and yeah, I think it's both Alpines and Sainz haven't pitted yet. So when they do, we will we'll come out ahead of them again. Lap 17, and yeah, we're about to start lap 18. Sainz and Ocon are in. Alonso's actually already pitted by this point, and yeah, we're going to come out in P4 once again. And Albon 5 seconds up the road, so he's definitely gone away from us a little bit here. However, the rain has started to fall now on lap 18. It's not wet enough to fit the intermediate tyres just yet, but it will be in no time at all, I am sure. So yeah, we need to be mindful of that. Very unfortunate for the people who started on the medium tyres. If they'd have stayed out even a lap or two more, there may have been an opportunity for them to do a 1-stop rather than, it looks like it will be at least a 2-stop now, or maybe even a 3-stop if the track gets so wet that that wet tyres become a necessity. But for the time being, yeah, I think that I think that the rain is due to be coming. This is Zhou Guanyu once again. He's pulling off to the side of the road. I think he had a mechanical failure to begin with, but he's certainly out of the race now after one of the Haas's smashes into the side of his car and decimates his tyre. So yeah, interesting. Like I said, I think he was having a mechanical failure, but I don't know if that was negated by the fact that someone hit him. And yeah, we're now in an interesting position because the safety car is out, which means I'm going to close up to Alex Albon, but part of me was wondering whether the right play here would be to maybe gamble, pit for some intermediate tyres, go to the back of the grid, but when everyone else pits onto the intermediate tyres, it will put me in the box seat to win this race. Because I'm sure that the rain is only going to get worse. That's what they've been telling me over the radio. So yeah, I really didn't know whether the right decision here would be to stop. In the end, I chose not to, because I figured, you know, I'm in a good position. I've made up a lot of ground. It seems like the right thing to do is to stay out. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to try and challenge our teammate on the safety car restart on a wet track when we're on slick tyres. We're going to try and go through the middle of him and Ricciardo, and we don't manage to get Ricciardo, but we do go around the outside of Albon, who actually lost out to Kevin Magnussen there. And on the safety car restart, we have managed to make our way onto the podium, having started 9th in this Grand Prix. So that is a mega performance no matter what happens here. And now we're going to see if we can close down the 2 cars ahead of us. However, the track is finally starting to get very slippery. I can't warm the tyres up anywhere near to the level I would like to anymore. I'm really trying. I was trying the whole way through the safety car phase as well to get the tyres warmed up. I just couldn't get them beyond about 80 degrees no matter how hard I tried, and that is right at the lower end of their operating window. So I'm really struggling for grip at the moment, can't heat up the tyres. I'm coming under pressure from Magnussen here, and in the end I make the call. I am going to stop for intermediate tyres with 7 laps to go. If these guys stay out, this could be a very poor strategy decision from my end, but I think it's only going to get wetter from here on out. I can't see DRS being re-enabled now, so I really think that this is the play. If we just if we come in now, I don't think other people are going to be coming in, but I think that this is the correct decision if we want to get the most pace out of our car. It means we'll have to make some overtakes, I imagine. I don't think that things are going to go all our way because no one is really coming in at the moment. So yeah, this could be a great strategy, or it could be a very, very bad idea, and it might work out in the same way that Spain worked out, where I ended up kind of, well, not losing position, but not really gaining a position either. It kind of just caused my race to stagnate a little bit, and I ended up having to do a lot of work to make things happen on that occasion. Fortunately, we've got a few more laps on this occasion. In that race, I think I only had 4 or 5 laps to do it. On this one, I've got 7. So we're going to have to push really hard, and let's watch the gap to the cars in front of me now. You can see that it's already come down to Tsunoda by over a second as we made our way through only a few corners. And the gap has already come down from about 15 seconds to about 12, and now 11. And you can see that, yes, this does seem to be the correct strategy, and a few cars have realised exactly that, and they have come into the pits as a result of that, including Ocon and Tsunoda. Both of them have pitted. Lundgaard has stayed out, and actually a surprisingly high number of cars have stayed out. I really thought that more people would be coming in when you look at the grip levels, but no, there's a lot of cars who are choosing to stay out on this occasion, including Lundgaard. As we go through another lap, Alonso has now pitted off those hard tyres as well, but everyone else staying out. I'm going to get past Lundgaard here, make my way up into P17, so I finally caught up with the drivers who were part of the slick train, as it were. But yeah, we're going to have a lot to do if we want to get past them. I don't know if they're going to be stopping. I would imagine that they would have stopped with everyone else, with Ocon, Tsunoda and Alonso, if that was going to be the case. But nonetheless, we have caught up to Robert Schwartzman in the Haas now. I don't know if it was him or Schumacher who eliminated Zhou Guanyu from this race. But once again, no one, apart from Sainz, who was also on the hard tyres, has pitted. So it seems that only the hard runners are pitting, and anyone who's on the medium tyres is staying out, from what I can gain from this. But it really doesn't look like it's going to be the superior strategy. You can see I've already made up a couple positions here on Lundgaard and Schwartzman. Now I'm going to get past Nicholas Latifi here, I imagine, as we burn a bit of battery on the run down to the hairpin. And yeah, we do manage to get past not only Latifi, but we also squeeze around the outside of Enzo Fittipaldi. These guys just have absolutely no pace on these slick tyres anymore. We're doing an overtaking montage right now, and I think next up on the agenda is Schumacher. I actually squeaked through up the inside of him. I think we made a tiny bit of contact there, but I wasn't hanging around for him, because that is how you lose a race, by hanging around for these guys. And we have a real opportunity to win here, because if these guys don't stop, I only think that the pace is going to tail off more and more, and we are going to get stronger and stronger. We're going to go up the inside of Théo Pourchaire. We just have so much more grip than these guys on the superior tyres, and we might even be able to get Stroll before the end of this lap, and that would be 6 overtakes in the space of a lap, which would be an absolutely fantastic result. And indeed, you can see that we have got past him. There's not that much grip around this final corner though, so I have to back out a little bit, and that almost enables him back through. But he's going into the pits, as is pretty much everyone else in this race, and that means that we are going to take the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix by a significant margin. You're going to see exactly what the margin is in just a moment when Russell comes out of the pits. But it might not even be him leading, because Ocon stopped 4 laps ago, and he has made his way up into P3, very close behind George Russell, but George Russell does just come out in P2. So yeah, he's not been kicked down to the bottom step of the podium, but he has been kicked off the top step of the podium. We are 8 seconds ahead of him, and I mean, this is looking like our race to lose at this point now. From 9th on the grid, we have played the strategy to absolute perfection. We had a blinding start to the race, and that set us up perfectly to capitalise on the weather conditions at the right moment, and we are no doubt going to win this race now. We've got one more lap left to go, and if we can just not make any major mistakes on that lap, you know, I can even drive a little bit cautiously and that kind of thing. There's no way that Russell can close me down by 7 seconds on the space of one lap. It just will not happen. And yeah, he will be absolutely gutted, because he had this win in his hands for 30 laps, and unfortunately the team has just bottled the strategy for him on this occasion. I clearly saw something that the rest of the drivers and teams didn't. I don't know. Maybe I could say something like the clouds look different in Portugal or something like that. But really, I was just feeling the track. I was losing so much grip, and I thought to myself, well, it seems like the right decision here is to come in, and so that's what I did. I had so much more pace than the guys around me, and they ignored that and chose to stay out, and that has what has cost them today. And we are going to win the Portuguese Grand Prix, and we are going to maximise the amount of points that we score here to get back into a very comfortable lead in the championship. So I am incredibly happy with that result. We get driver of the day for our troubles as well, and we'll see shortly by just how much I'm leading the championship now.
Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It's an heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place today.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So, we win the Constructors' title, and yeah, that is the second time we have now done that. Natalie Pinkham talking absolute bollocks about how I managed to win this race. It had nothing to do with me finding grip or anything like that. It was all down to strategy. It was down to getting a good start, and then after that, it was literally all strategy from that point onwards. So, yeah, we win on strategy, retake the lead of the championship, although we were leading it, but we increase our margin in the championship, I should say. And, yeah, fantastic race.
Let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Robinson increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Robinson. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. With that result, the sport's newest team can no longer be touched at the top of the table. What an incredible journey this has been for a team many had written off a short time ago. They are the Formula One World Champions. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So we have increased our championship lead to 39 points once again. That is pretty much what it was in the previous race, if I remember correctly, because Norris won that one, yeah, we had the DNF, which meant that he scored 25 more points than me. On this occasion, it was him not scoring and me scoring the full gambit of points, which means that we have once again regained our comfortable lead in the championship. And now all we have to do is have a good weekend in Brazil, and we have won the championship. There will be nothing that people can do as long as we can find our way into sort of the top 5 or so. I would wage to say that that will probably be enough. And even if it's not, we'll still be leading the championship so comfortably that we can wrap it up in Abu Dhabi, no problem, I would say. And yeah, we are looking really good. We are Constructors World Champions. With 2 races to go, which is a great feeling as well. You know, me and Alex Albon both have had a very strong season. They were just not really looking like anyone could touch us, despite the fact that we've had a massive wave of unreliability, 10 DNFs between the two of us over the course of 20 races. Really unacceptable. We will be changing engine manufacturers for next season. I keep banging on about that. But yeah, we're looking good. Meanwhile, further afield, there are some interesting battles going on, including for P2 in the Constructors' Championship. It's really not clear who's going to walk away with that one. It looks like it will probably be McLaren at the moment, but still 2 races for Red Bull or Ferrari to potentially overturn them. P2 in the Drivers' Championship is looking like it could be either Albon or Norris, or maybe someone else has an outside chance of sneaking into that fight, but I think it will be most likely one of them two. I'll be interested to see who it is. And also further afield, the fight for P8 in the Constructors is actually looking very tight. I think we got, I think it's Williams on 31 points, or no, it's Aston Martin on 31 points, and then Williams are on 30 and Haas are on 28. So I could easily see any of those teams walking away with P8 in the Constructors' Championship before the season is through. Yeah, it's been a really, really interesting season of Formula 1. I thought it was going to be a foregone conclusion when I was winning all those races in the midpoint of the season that I never usually win. You know, we've taken so many unlikely wins here this season. We won in Imola, we won in Monaco, we won in Singapore. I am almost in disbelief at some of the tracks that we've won at, to be perfectly honest with you. And then, you know, we had a bit of a downturn on tracks that I thought were going to go well for me. 2 DNFs back-to-back in the USA and Mexico. But we have put an end to any doubt in people's mind today by taking a win from 9th on the grid here in Portugal. And if you watch the Miami Grand Prix this weekend, you'll know that there has only been 4 occasions in history where someone has won a race from 9th on the grid. Although I might have done it in a previous race, as has another driver potentially in this canon. But in real life, yeah, there were only 3 previous occasions where someone had done it prior to 2023, I guess. So yeah, very, very interesting and a very great result. And hopefully we can wrap up this championship next time in Brazil. But that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you in the next one.